What is good, you guys? It's your boy, Kid Ginger Vlogs, back with another podcast this week. If you're new to the channel as well now on this podcast, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to stay tuned for future updates on this channel. They're going to be coming each week in the form of a vlog, a podcast, a challenge video. But as for now, we're going to jump right into the podcast and we're going to literally talk about my ex. So we're going to start off with where we met. So let me start by saying 5 years ago, I was single. At the beginning, when I met this person, I'd been single for 5 years. Now, the relationship that I had with the person 5 years prior to that, between me being single and meeting this person, she went back in America to study and do the rest of her degree. She's now an X-ray technician. She does all this stuff and whatnot. This girl is the one that left, went to America, and after 5 years came back. This was in the February of 2020 that she came back, the middle of February. And we hooked up, we had a few drinks, she spent the night, we got back to old times, and it was only for like a week or so that she was here. But we spent a bit of time together, we did a few things. I'm not going to go into details, but you kind of get the gist of what it was. And basically from that, after she had came and then left and went back to America, I kind of went on a dating app called Plenty of Fish. And this girl that I met on there, I messaged her a couple of times. The first time she ignored it. She opened the message, read it and left it. So I decided I'm just going to message her one more time, see if she's still interested or whatever. And after that, the conversation kind of got flowing. And this was towards the end of February 2020. And it wasn't until the March time, when I first met her, that we decided to go for like a little drink up near the pub where I live. And we went for that drink, had a good chat and everything like that. Nothing happened on that date. But no kissing, none of that. It was literally just a chat, getting to know each other, knowing about each other's past and everything like that. Now, she wasn't to know about my past the week or so before we got speaking and got to know each other. And I wasn't to know about her past before we got together. But either way, things went on. We went on a couple of more dates and everything. We had like a dinner and we kind of met up again, having like a milkshake from McDonald's and just a little chat in the car. So we just basically met up, and on the last date we had before we kind of made it official and we were a couple, we met up one more time and she asked me about this girl from America, because I told her, obviously, on the date and that we spoke about everything, but she asked me about the girl from America, the one that I just mentioned at the beginning. And she asked me like a random question, like, did I sleep with her? And at the time, I thought no harm. She didn't need to know. So I told her no, I didn't sleep with her, but it wasn't for her to know. She didn't need to know those details about my past, the girl that I seen before her 5 years ago, and basically a week before we got together. She didn't need to know all that details, but she proceeded to ask me, and I told her no, we didn't sleep together, because I didn't need to tell her the truth and I didn't need to lie to her. But she didn't need to know about my past and I didn't need to know about her past. So it goes on a little bit more anyway, and we become an item, we become like a thing. And there's a guy she's still speaking to from the dating app. Now, call me paranoid, call me a bit weird, call me what you like. But talking to somebody off a dating app where I've met you, and still being in contact with another guy from a dating app, in my head, it's a bit weird. I don't know about you guys, how you feel about that. But if you're talking to someone from the app you met me off, or I'm talking to you off the app, and you're still talking to another guy while you're with me on that same app, it's a bit weird, is it not? And she basically had an issue with me talking to the girl from America still, because we still remain friends and we still remained in contact. And I had the same issue with her talking to this guy on the dating app. I was like, why are you talking to him if I can't talk to her? And it was literally like fair game, because she was saying her stuff, I was saying my stuff. And it was only equal, like I thought. We didn't disagree, but we didn't agree. And it was just one of those things with the two of us. Like, it wasn't unfair on my part, but it wasn't unfair on her part. But we both just couldn't agree on it. So I kind of made a truce and just said, why don't you block him? I'll block her. Me and you'll just be you and me. Because for some reason she had a bit of doubts that I was going to go back with the American girl. Now, that wasn't the case at all, because she's in America, 3,000 miles away from England. And this guy that she was speaking to was only up the road, like Loughborough way. It's not very far. She could easily access him, he could easily access her, but regardless of that, the details and whatever, blah, blah, blah. we went into that and we just basically said, we're just going to call it quits. We're just going to call it a day. We won't speak to either of them. And then as things wore on a little bit, basically a few things had come up in the relationship that were not going well. And the mum decided that she was going to stick her head in. Not my mum, her mum. And at this point, I'd not met everybody in the family. I'd met her mum, her stepdad, her brother, his partner, the little baby girl, their niece or something like that. Her niece, sorry, their daughter. But I'd met all their people, but she'd only met one member of my family, which was my mum at the time when she was here. And it was just very awkward, like, after a few months, because that situation had already happened with the American girl and the guy that she was speaking to. That had already happened, and it was still kind of playing on her mind and my mind. And that caused an argument out of nothing, for no reason. Literally, I don't know why we argued over it, but we argued so much over that for nothing that it just became every day, near enough. And it's like, what's the issue? I've blocked her, you've blocked him. But in my mind, and her mind, she's still speaking to him, and I'm still speaking to her, but I'm not. And this was the thing we used to argue over, among other things, petty stuff. But it got to the stage where the mum started getting involved, and then I ended up getting banned from going around the house, her mum's house. And basically, I didn't do anything wrong. It was just the fact of, you're making her unhappy, you're doing this, you're doing that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, but she's doing the same thing back. Either way, we were still together, me and the partner at the time, but she could only come here. So we were just going into lockdown at that point as well. That was when lockdown was just being announced, that we're all going to go into like a national lockdown. And coming from that, we basically, I think everybody know back then from the news, you could only go to one household. And basically she chose to come to my household, and that was it. So every week, I'd see her once a week. We'd come here, we'd get takeaway, or she'd make food, or I'd make food, whatever the situation was. We'd sort it out and organise it before she got here. And then going on from that, lockdown was announced then, after that, like the next month. And it was like, right, this is what's going to happen. The mum barred me from going to that house, so I couldn't go there, so she could only come here. And over time, things just stemmed. Like, they got really out of control. Like, things that I couldn't control that were happening because of the mum's involvement. Now, a lot of the things were what the mum was assuming. Nothing was true, but a lot of it was what the mum was assuming about me. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not the perfect bloke, I'm not the worst bloke. I'm in the middle. Like, I do have issues and I do have problems, and I'll talk more about that on the next podcast. But there are issues and there are problems with me, but it's nothing that affects who I am as a person. Like, I didn't do anything to deserve being banned from the household, but I still got banned just for the fact of it was her daughter being protected by the mum. So whatever happened, and I don't know 100% in and out if it was really me that did it all or if it was her. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. But either way, I got banned. I wasn't allowed there. And then things just started to get worse and worse and take a downward spiral, because one thing led to another. And then her mum would fall out with her and be like, you can go live with him. Basically, you can come and live at my house. But no one could stop. My mum wouldn't allow that at the time. She was like, no one can stay here because I've not got the room. And it was understandable. I only had my room and the other room that was occupied in the house. But it was like, no, you can't. She can't stay here. She can't live here. And that was like 6 months into it then. But her and her mum, like, every time she'd stay here, the mum would text her and be like horrible. And I'd be like, why is she being horrible to you? And she'd threaten her with things like the cat with like, take all your stuff and move into his house. Like, get out of here. We don't want you to be here. And it was just like, what's the reason for this? And it was basically the mum just not liking me for no reason. And I didn't do anything wrong, other than the fact of I got barred from the house for whatever reason. I don't even remember. But I got barred, and it was like, from that, it just stemmed into issues with her and her mum. And then her problems became my problems with what her and her mum were going through. And I was just like, I can't deal with this right now. So I'm kind of a closed book. Like, if something's going on, I'll let you have your shouting match, your screaming match. Do what you need to do. But I'm not going to go back at you. Like, unless I need to, I'm not going to go back at you. I'm just kind of one of those, like, I ignore it. I just go silent. Like I said, I'll talk more about that in the next one. But that's just how I cope. I don't get confrontational. I say my piece, and I probably have a little outburst. But other than that, it's nothing like I'm going to threaten you, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to do anything like that. It's just literally words, and she gives as good as she gets. But going through the relationship, it was like my birthday coming up as well. This is a bit later on now, we're about 6 months in. So a bit later on, we'd booked a holiday that had to be cancelled, and that got cancelled due to the fact of lockdown was getting really bad, and like the cases were going through the roof. So everywhere was shutting down, like nowhere was open. Like the only thing you could do was go to the shops, and that's another subject as well. Like we could only go to the shops for essentials, like your bread, your milk, baby food, bits and bobs, whatever you need, basically just essentials, toilet roll and everything like that. And this become an issue because it was like we needed things to buy for us, like as a couple. Her mum needed things, and it was like she'd go to the shop, do the shopping for the mum, and then the mum would be like, "Well, has he given you money?" And I'd give her money because we were a couple, so we go halves or whatever. And I'd give her the money, but then she'd be saying to the mum, "He doesn't give me anything. Like he doesn't give me money. He doesn't give me nothing." And if I showed you the transactions in the bank that I sent her money here and there, even before we was like fully fledged as a full couple, like I'd be sending her £20, £30, £10 here, £15. Like the amounts don't matter to me, but she was basically saying to her mum, I didn't give her money for the shopping, I wasn't going half, but I was, because I was the guy at the time in a job like her. She just lost a job when I met her, and I was basically paying for what we were doing, like eating, like seeing each other, petrol, fuel, you name it. I was giving her the cash to support herself as well as me. But all this stuff was happening with the mum. She didn't like me for no reason, and that happened for like a good 5 6 months after that, and then everything dropped. The mum went, "You can start coming back round again," and I was like, "Okay." I said, "But you're only allowed to go to one household. You come to mine." And she's like, "Yeah, but you can come to mine. You're not going to any households." I went, "All right, that's fine, no problem." And then lo and behold, things got better. We started speaking again, me and her mum. Me and her got better. Like the situations were getting better in the relationship. But there was still the odd nitty gritty, like, the bits where she'd dig at me, I'd dig at her, the mum would have a little outburst for no reason. But then it'd always go back to, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about my mum. I don't know what to do about us. I don't know what to do about the relationship. And I'd just be there going, do what you think's best. Do what you think's best for you. And I'm not one of them pushy people. I don't want to keep somebody that I don't want to be with. And I won't force you to stay with me if you don't want to be with me. I'm literally like, that's it. If you don't want to be here, just go. I'm not going to shake my head and be worried about it. But it was one of them, like she didn't know what to do, and the mum was stressing her out as well when they fell out again, because it only lasted for about a month or two, this happy period, and then the mum just like turned on us both, and it was like, okay. And this is coming up towards the end of the year, like the November December time, and it's like, what's going on? Like literally, what is going on? And I didn't know myself if it's me, if it's the mum jealous of me and her daughter. I don't know what it was, but for every little thing I did right, I did 10 things wrong, and it was like, what am I doing wrong? Like I'm literally doing nothing wrong. And it'd be just down to the fact of we'd have a little fallout, me and the partner, even if it was caused by me or caused by her. We'd have a little fallout. She'd go back to the mum and say, I'm upset, I'm unhappy, blah blah blah. And I'd be like, right, well, do what you think's right for the relationship. Leave me, or go back to your mum's, do what you need to do. But then she'd be like contradicting. She's like, I don't want to leave you though. The problem's not just you, it's my mum and everything like this. And I'm like, okay, so what can we do to make us work and make your mum and me and you work? And I was down to listen to it, which I did listen to it, but it was like a shouting match, and I was like, I can't do this because like me as a person, my head just goes out the window. Like once you start making too much racket and shouting and everything like that, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about anymore. But all this stuff was happening, and I was like, do what you think's best for the relationship and for the relationship with your mum. And it just turned into one of those things of I want to be with you, but I can't be with you because it won't make her happy. But if I go with her, I know you won't be happy. And I was one of these, like, do what makes you happy, not what makes us happy. Do it for you, not me. Do it for the relationship's sake, or do it for your own sake. Do it for you, or do it for the relationship. Whichever one you choose, it's going to be the outcome. I'm not really fussed about it. And it was just one of them. It was on and off, on and off, on and off. And it kept going on and off, on and off. And then we got into January, the New Year time. Now, by this time, she'd caught COVID over the New Year, like Boxing Day towards the New Year, she'd caught COVID. And we were in this house, my house that I'm living in now currently, and I contracted it. My mum also contracted it, and we weren't well. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard me say it on the vlog before, but I said on the vlog, I suffered respiratory failure type 1, and I also got COVID pneumonitis. I think that's how you pronounce it. Which basically, I was clinically dead. I wasn't breathing because I just blacked out and passed out. And by the time I'd blacked out and passed out and woke up, 5 hours had passed and I didn't know what had happened. So I'd come back around and I was really ill. I was off work for about a month and a half after that as well. And my partner at the time, she got it, but it wasn't too bad. My mum got it really bad. She was really bad. She was ill in bed, like she died almost. She was on CPAP machine and she was taking all these different things to get herself better. Like my whole family like was on literally breakdown mode because I nearly died. Well, I clinically did die and I come back, but then my mum nearly died, and then just other things were going on in this house, like my mum's ex-partner, her and my partner, him and my mum, him and my mum's ex-partner. Sorry, let me speak fucking properly. I can't speak, guys, because I've got so much that I'm trying to remember. But my mum's ex-partner and her had a fallout as well, so that was something new to the relationship. And at the time, this was when I suffered COVID and I fainted at home, and they'd already had a fallout here, and I basically was in the toilet. I collapsed, and the next thing, like my partner just said, "Can you open the door? The paramedics are here." And he blanked her. And I basically collapsed in the toilet. And then on the way to the hospital, I was in the back of the ambulance. He came outside. He was quite violent and he started spitting at the paramedics, my mum's ex. And it wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice moment. It wasn't a nice memory that I could remember because I didn't remember that part of it until I was told by my partner. But we ended up having to have the police called and we were put on like a protection order to protect me and her. And that was it. It was just a crazy time between Christmas and New Year. It was one of the worst Christmases, honestly. One of the worst 2020 Christmases going into 2021 in the new year, because I just felt like everything that had happened from meeting my partner the year before, like in the February, all the way up to this point, was just culminating to this big explosion that was going to happen. And all these things kept happening. And like COVID had happened. We'd all got really ill from COVID. We'd got better. And in the process of this as well at the time, once this order was in place to protect me and my partner, we decided that we're going to look for somewhere to live as a couple, both of us. And then once that news got back to her mum was really like, "Well, why are you doing that? Why don't you just move back here and everything?" But she was like, "I don't want to live at your house. I want to live with my partner. She wants to live with me, basically. We want our own place." And like I will say, I'll say it now, but I don't actually want one. I've got my daughter from my previous relationship, and that's the only child I want. I don't want any more. I'm not looking to have any more, and I won't have any more. I'm not going to have the operation or anything like that, but I'm not going to have any more children. But in the relationship I'm speaking about, this one, my last one, that was the last one that I had, this partner of mine was suffering from PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, and basically she couldn't conceive. There was nothing wrong with me because I had a daughter with my past partner, but she was trying, and we were literally, daily, like every time we seen each other during the lockdown, everything like that, we'd see each other once a week, twice a week maybe. But every time we seen each other, it was at least a couple of occasions that we got down to business. And then once we moved out, we'd moved out in the end of January time, 2021 at this point now. We'd moved into our own place, and every single day, more or less, 2, 3 times a day, we were trying and trying to like make it happen. But for some reason, it wasn't happening. But maybe it was an omen. It wasn't meant to happen, because what happened a bit further down the line, we're going to get into that, was just a lot of nasty, nasty stuff coming up. But like I said, I didn't want to be a dad to another kid. I didn't want my child to have like a step sister or step brother. I didn't want any more kids. I've had my daughter and I'm done. I don't want any more. I'm literally finished. I don't want any more children. I've had one daughter and that's all I want. I don't want any more kids. But this partner that I was with, I was doing it for her. I was making her happy. So it wasn't going to make me happy, but it was going to happen for her. And I wasn't being like obnoxious or anything like that. It was just literally, if I can make this happen for her, then at least I've made her happy. But in the next 3-4 months we were together, like things were just getting worse because we were still in lockdown. But she was saying to her mum that it won't let me out. I can't do anything. I can't go to shops. I can't buy anything. Now, if you guys remember lockdown, you could only go shop and buy your essentials like your food. You weren't allowed to buy clothing, electronics, anything like that. If you wanted that stuff, you just ordered it online and it came to the house. And all these stuff, these like weird like natures that she said that I had where I was stopping her doing stuff. I wasn't, because I used to go to work before she did. So I'd do an 8 to 5. Her shift was like 9 p.m., 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. Sorry, not 9 p.m. 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. or 8:30 till 5:30 or something like that. Either way, we never overlapped when we used to come back from work. I'd be always home first and I'd always leave the home first. So regardless of what was what, she used to say that she couldn't go anywhere, she couldn't do this, she couldn't do that. She wasn't allowed to wear what she wanted to wear, and all this like kind of crap that was coming out of her gob. And it was like, it's just utter crap, literally utter BS, because I was already at work. I had no say in what she wore the day before, even if she lays her clothes out or something like that. I had no say in how she had her makeup, her hair, her clothes, nothing, because the job that she did, she worked in sales, selling internet. I'm not going to put their name on here, but I'm going to blur that out. So she was selling internet for the internet company and whatnot, broadband packages. But she had to dress smart. She had to look appropriate. And like on a Friday, she could like kind of dress down a bit, like a tracksuit or whatever she wanted to wear. Like, just like a dress down day where it's more casual. But yeah, she led her mum to believe that I was controlling her. I was telling her what to wear, don't do this with your makeup, don't do that, don't do this, don't do all this lot. But the high and lows of it all was everything was taking a toll. Like the relationship with me and her, the mum and her's relationship was taking a toll. And any way that she could, it was like kind of doing what her mum did to me in the beginning, she started doing towards the end of the relationship. And I can never understand it, because we were all right. Like as a couple, we was okay. Like you have your bickers, you have your fallouts, because you don't agree on everything. Because if you do, then it's just a perfect world, and no relationship and no world is perfect. Like no world is perfect, no relationship is perfect, and no people are perfect. Like I say, all this stuff was happening. And then the mum was still also sending her messages because she had a pet cat, and basically saying like, you're not coming to see the cat anymore, you're not allowed to bring him near my house again. For some reason I got banned again for the third time now. And it was like, what have I done? And I literally haven't done anything. But the low all and be all of it was, she was basically saying my mum's protecting me. And I was like, but protecting you from what? Because you're telling her what's going on in the relationship, and it's nothing that I'm actually doing, but it's what she's kind of insinuating that's happening back at the house without actually knowing. Because like I say, not all people are perfect. Everybody's different. And this person that's doing what she's doing is manipulating the relationship from a standpoint of being in her own house. We're now in our house, and everything you're telling her, she's making her own mind up on it. Like, I don't get a say in that because I didn't have the mum's number. Like, we weren't like on that scale. We didn't have each other's number, so we couldn't text or talk about anything. It was just basically what she would tell her mum. And the low all, be all and end all of it all was literally just every single thing that was happening was becoming a problem. And then on top of our actual issues in the relationship, the mum was creating more. So going back to what I said, she had a pet cat, and the mum said, you're not allowed to come and see me while you're with him. You're not visiting your cat. You're not allowed to come to this house. I don't want to be near you while you're with him. And it was like so difficult on the relationship and stressing the relationship so hard that I was like, you've got to make that decision I spoke about months ago to you. Make yourself happy for you and your mum, or do it for you and me and your mum. Like, make the relationship work for all three of us, or make it work for just you two. One of us has got to like kind of go. And it just turned into one of these for the next couple of months. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I was like ready for anything. I didn't have a say in everything. And I'll be honest, towards the end of it, it was kind of getting to that point of, this is going to happen now. It's going to happen eventually. And at work, I was having like, the effects of it happening, because it does stress you out having a relationship with a woman or a man, depending on which sex you are, but whatever. So it does stress you out, and all this lot had happened, and I was at work, and people could see me at work getting down in the dumps like, I don't know what to do, because I'm a working man. She's at work now, and it's like, you know, we see each other as much as we can every day after work, but it's like everything's a problem. Every time we come home, we're either discussing what her mum's had a go at her for, or that her mum don't like me for, and it's like every day was the same thing. And then the be all and end all, like the high and the low of the relationship, it was like good some days, bad some days, but it was what was happening to us both that was making the relationship bad. It wasn't anything that we were doing to each other. It was just some things that we'd argue about would be because the mum's picked on her or said something about me. So I'd get upset that I'm being called or slagged off or whatever because I can't defend myself because I've not got the number to call the mum and say, why are you talking this about me? Why can't you tell me this? So I'd be getting like the third wheel. I'd be getting told, my mum said this about you. My mum said this. You're not allowed down the house. You're not allowed to come over. And it's like, why? Why can't I come over? What have I done? And I had no say in the matter. It was literally, you're not allowed here. End of the conversation. So either way, like lockdown was starting to lift a few months like before it ended the relationship, and we booked a holiday for my birthday, and we ended up going, me and my partner, but the mum had also booked a holiday that at the time when we were all talking I was invited to and I was allowed to go, and it was only like a month before my birthday was coming up that the mum decided I don't want him to actually come on the holiday now, but she wanted the daughter to go with her and leave me here for my birthday, which wasn't in anybody's eyes fair on me because it was my day, it was my birthday, and my partner wanted to do something for me and for her for my birthday, and the mum invited us and then decided to uninvite me. So bear with me, I'm going to go drink because my throat's drying. So I got uninvited, and then the mum was like, you can come still, to my partner, and she said, well, no, because the holiday's for him, for his birthday. And the mum went, well, I don't want him to come. And I was just like, well, what can I do? I can't have a say in the matter because the mum's made the decision. So we ended up booking somewhere else and going there for the week. The mum went the other place. But for the whole time, for this holiday, we were just like going on back and forth about what our mum was texting her. And it was literally my birthday week, basically. And she was just ruining the birthday week for me. And I couldn't really say anything because I was like, what do you want me to say? Because it's your mum. I can't tell you what your mum says, and what my mum says is different. Like, you know, you do what your mum says. My mum's not even had a part of this relationship. She's not even said anything once because my mum just lets me make my own mistakes and do these kind of things. But it is what it is. It's my mistakes I make. So my mum don't get involved in it. But her mum was just, it was like having a relationship with the mum and the daughter at the same time, but you couldn't, and I wasn't trying to, you couldn't separate the two of them because everything you'd say would go back to the mum, but then the mum would have an opinion on me because of what was being said, and it's like, well, am I actually doing anything wrong, or is it just the fact that what you told your mum is making her not like me? It's an honest question, and she couldn't answer me for it, so either way, back and forth, all this stuff was happening, and I was like, I've got no control, I've got no say in the matter of what's going on with the relationship. But then, come like the last month of the relationship, things were just on a downfall. Like we were literally on a downward spiral. We were still doing everything like we used to do, like as a couple. Like we were still trying for the child for her, and we were still trying to make everything happen. But we were just on a downward spiral as a couple. Like the toll what the mum was doing, what the relationship was doing to us, the fact that then my older sister got involved by unintentionally being rang. She got rang by my partner, and she had a little conversation with her about everything. And my sister told her the same thing. Do what's right for you. Do what's right for the both of you. Don't basically stay together if it's not going to work. But if it is going to work, make it work for the both of you. But then, on the be all and end all of it, she had a choice to make. Make it work for me and her. Make it work for me, her, and a mum. Or make it work for her and a mum. And like the be all and end all, we ended up breaking up. This is coming into the last month of it now. We ended up breaking up. And it was kind of relief, if you ask me. It was relief because if you ask me if I loved her, I'll be honest with you all now. I never loved her. I didn't love her at all. I never had any love, any feelings, anything for the woman. And this is the true thing. I didn't love her. Like when we broke up, I didn't cry. I didn't shed a tear. Even after everything she's done to me up to now, everything she's tried to get me done for and everything she's tried to do to me, I still don't love her. Never told her I loved her. I've never showed her I loved her. We were just in a relationship. And basically it was going to be one of them things. If the kid was born, it was going to be for her, not for me. It was going to be for her. It was going to be just one of them things. And I know saying that you don't love somebody is really difficult, but for me, I didn't have any love for her. I didn't love her as a person, as my partner. I didn't love her during making love or anything like that. I didn't love anything about the relationship. I don't remember her. I don't remember anything she likes. I don't remember anything about her personally other than just how bad the relationship was. And it was only made worse because everything we went through went to all these different channels, like her mum, her best friend, and everybody like that getting involved in the relationship. Rather than letting the relationship just happen and like being how it was just getting passed around. It was like the news. It was like, everyone knows our business because of you, and it's like, why? Why do all these people need to get involved? We've had a little fallout, so why you've got to tell everybody every single thing? But then, regardless, like I just said, at this point, we were like in the last month of the relationship, and we can just tell, like, it's taken a toll on both of us, which took us both to the wall. And literally, we're both there just fighting for something we don't want. And I know in my mind I didn't want it, because it was somebody that I met after getting back to the partner that I was with from America 5 years prior to that. Now, and it's like now, I've been single since that relationship ended, the one that I'm talking about, because I don't need a relationship. I'm happy on my own. I'm happy doing my own thing. But the moral of the story, this whole podcast here, the moral of this whole podcast is that people will try and do things to you. People will try and say you've done things that you haven't done. And it'll only be said once the relationship's ended that all these things come out. Now, let that be anything from something really serious to nothing at all, just to the fact he was not a good partner. But the be all and end all of it is, don't ever fall for somebody that you don't love. And don't do something to replace someone that will never be replaced. Because I wasn't trying to replace the girl from America with this one. But I met the devil. And that was the devil I fell for. Let's just put it that way. That was the devil that I fell for. Not just her, her mum. And the relationship in general was just not a good relationship. It's one of the worst relationships I've had, and I've had about 4 or 5. But out of all of them, this one by far, and the person that it was with, has been the worst of all of them put together. Just from what the relationship was, to when it ended, to what went on. Just a second, because the screen cut off then. But yeah, out of everything, it was definitely the worst relationship that I can remember, because not only did it tear a family apart, it tore me apart from everybody that I knew, my brother, my mum, you know, her and her partner split up. But after everything had ended, all these like different things that were happening, the serious stuff and everything like that, and I'm not going to tell you guys about all these details, but everything that happened was just literally for no reason. But it was only once the relationship ended that all this stuff happened. February 2020 till May 2021. That's how long the relationship lasted. A mere 18 months. It was nothing. Nothing long. Nothing sincere. But if you put it this way, it's took a toll on me for the last 3 years. But I'm still here, and I'm still going to be here. I'm not going anywhere, guys. It's been your boy, Kid Ginger Vlogs. Until the next podcast, we'll see you then.